intention, if I'm right now in front of you, is to talk about the multiple intelligences that people possess. Okay. As you all know, according to Howard Gardner's pluralistic view about intelligences, there are 8 kinds of intelligences that people possess. First of all, we have the linguistic intelligences. As you all know, it's the aptitude of an individual to use languages effectively as a means of expression and communication through the written and spoken word. You can have the example of poets like William Shakespeare. You have the logical mathematical intelligences, which is someone's capacity to think logically, to calculate numbers and solve problems scientifically, like physician like Albert Einstein. You have the visual spatial intelligence, which refers to the capability to think and present our spatial ideas in images, like artists like Picasso or Leonardo da Vinci. We also have the musical intelligence, which is a kind of intelligence that some people use to appreciate different varieties of music, as well being able to remember things with music. We have musicians such as Mozart. And we have the bodily kinesthetic intelligence, the aptitude of someone to work skillfully with his or her body to create or manipulate objects like dancers, ballerina. And we have the interpersonal intelligence, the capacity to communicate and cooperate in work appropriately and effectively with people. We have the example of those people who work in a company. We have the intrapersonal intelligence, which is the knowledge of one's own strengths, motivation, goals, and feelings, and to be capable of self-reflection. We have examples of philosophers such as Plato or Aristotle. And then the naturalistic intelligence, the intelligence needed to identify and classify our environmental components. That is the intelligence that botanists need. So right now I will talk about my own intelligences, the reason that I think I have those intelligences, and some example of application in my life. So I think that I have the visual spatial intelligence because I'm able to recall things with mental pictures in my mind. It's like sometimes when we have vocabulary tests with Miss Holly, the slides that she gives up on the blog help me during my vocabulary test because there are images who can help me to recall ideas in my mind. And I can easily imagine ideas and concepts in my mind. The example that I had is during my classes that I have taken in my country. We were doing some physics and chemistry. So I needed this kind of intelligence to make sure that when we had an exercise concerning motion on an inclined lane, I needed to have that intelligence to make sure that to represent what the forces on the representation. So I needed to know that by the time the motion was getting down from the inclined lane, we had the wave, which is one of the forces. We had the friction, and then we had the normal force from the lane. And in chemistry, when we were doing the spatial representation of atom, especially methane, this is the way we presented it in 3D on computers. But when you were about to do exercises about chemistry and spatial representation, you had to know that to represent this one on your paper, you had to put this way. So I will explain the symbols. These symbols means that is the hydrogen which is behind the atom. It is this one. This symbol signifies the hydrogen which is in front of the representation, which is this one. And this hydrogen, this symbol, is the one on the side, on this side, and this is the one on the top. Thank you. So right now I want to present you my logical mathematical intelligence. And the reason that I think that I have this intelligence is because I can be logical while solving exercises in mathematics. And during my classes that I took in my country, we had the manner to do rapid calculation. It has been a subject, and our teacher were giving us marks on this subject. And I can also solve problems easily. I think that I have the musical intelligence because when I was taking classes in my country in literature, the cadence of poetry intrigues me. It's like when I read poem, I used to respect the rhyme and the rhythm, and that's why my teacher used to like me, because they knew that I was a good reader. And for those of who were present at the culture festival, you would have noticed that I was really good in moving to a bit white dancing because I like different kinds of music. So I was dancing Venezuelan music, African ones, and Arabic and other dances. And I remember things by putting them in a song. So later I will teach you a lesson about this aspect of my musical intelligences, which was applied in chemistry. For all of you who know me since the first day of my class in LCC, I think that study groups are very productive for me, you know, because sometimes our teacher Holly and Greg, they ask us to do some groups, some small groups to discuss about a matter, and it's like I think that they are very productive. I enjoy discussing and exchanging with people I meet. I think that all of you have did notice that I'm very open-minded, and that I like discussing with you and exchanging things. And I know how to entertain people in order for them to be in good mood, because I think that being in good mood is something very important for me because it affects my way of learning. So some lessons and exercise about this is a lesson I want to teach about logical mathematical intelligence. Oh, I don't know why. I'm sorry. I thought that it would be more now. I just wanted to teach you how to know that there are some angles in trigonometry who can have the same cosine or the same sine. So there is pi on 4. If we take the example of pi on 4, when you project pi on 4 on the sine axis, this one, and when you project it on the cosine axis, you can easily figure out that it's like this way. You can easily figure out that pi on 4 has the same cosine as the angle 3 pi on 4. And this graph helped me in mathematics, because when we were doing some exercise, we needed to know the similarities of angle, knowing how angles have the same cosine or maybe same sine. And my classmates used to memorize it and to vomit it on the copies, but me, I needed to do this graph in order to figure it out. And in chemistry, I was talking about my musical intelligence. In chemistry, I used to sing a song in order to remember the 21st elements of the periodic table of chemistry elements. Yeah. So the music is Lili, Besa, boire chez notre oncle François Nestor. Nana mangea allègrement 6 poulets sans claquer à bon caca. So it's like I'm sorry, but it's in French, and I just wanted to show you that this lead is all about the first, the third one, because we all know that hydrogen and helium, everyone knows that. So Li means lithium. Oh, I'm in French, okay. Lithium, okay. And then the beta is like beryllium. Do we say beryllium in English? Okay. And this B is boy in French. Boy in French. And this is the B. There it is. And the C is right there. And then the N is right there. And O, oxygen, like you know. So it's like all of the first letters of my song were referring to the initials. Yeah, the initials of atoms in the periodical table of the elements. So,
but we want you to sing it.
Lily baisse sa voix chez notre oncle François Nestor. Nana mangea allègrement 6 poulets sans claquer argon caca.
It's like I'm going to
And
dance.
it makes sense, sorry, in French, because if you want me to translate it, it's like Lily Bessa is a girl which drinks in the house of her uncle François Nestor. So she goes there and drinks a lot and she gets drunk. And Nana is the name of a guy who eats with a lot of
Gusto.
yeah, he eats a lot, and he eats chicken, 6 chickens. Yeah, he eats 6 chicken without being disturbed while eating. Yeah, it's like he's really focused on the fact that he's eating his chicken. Yeah, he doesn't want people to disturb him. So, okay. And for the last point of my presentation is an exercise on mathematical logical intelligence. That is one exercise that I had to figure out to pass my exams. So I need someone to try it if you want, but if you don't know, it's very simple, but it needs a lot of logic and So while going at the mall with your parents, you find an article that costs $97, but you don't have any. I'm sorry, I just kept the one. But you don't have any amount of money, so you decide to borrow $50 to your father and $50 to your mother. So it's like you borrowed $100 from your 2 parents. Then you buy the article. Then the cashier gives you back $3. You return $1 to your father and $1 to your mother. Then you stay with $1, the remaining one. Now you have to give back $49 to each of your parents, because when you give them $1 from the $50 you owe them, it's like it remains $49 to give back to them. But when you do the $49 given to your father and that you have to give to your mother plus the $1 that you remain with, it's like it gives $99, and the question is what is the last $1 in order to have the $100, the complete one that you borrowed from them. So please, I would like one of you to try, even if you think it's difficult, but it's not. Oh, okay. This is very simple.
Excuse me. Why you add $1? It's 49.49.
It is the
We
one.
have to add $2 because we gave the parents $2. $1 to the mother, $1 to the, and I kept $1 with me.
Sorry.
is $49.
Yeah.
It remains 49.
Okay.
We have 100, right?
Equals 98. So
It doesn't matter what you have, because it's 97, the price of the object
Yeah.
plus $1 plus the other dollar plus the other dollar and 100. That's right.
where's
The object costs 97.
okay.
You give it $1 to your parent, $1 to your mother, and you have one. So you have one on the object.
No, but
It doesn't matter.
you answered from the beginning. You answered from the end.
It doesn't matter because you paid 97. Okay?
Yeah, but
And you
after
have $3 left. One you give them to your parent, and the other to your mother. So you have $1.
that's correct. But after she said after you give back $2,
It doesn't matter.
you still
It doesn't matter this equation.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. She's
You
right.
don't have to answer this. You have to answer.
Answer it.
So this is the trick.
But
You focus there. Okay.
and
You
you
focus
don't have
there, but
you have to
focus
be
on
logic, but you don't have to focus. Yeah, that's the logical point of the exercise. You don't have to focus on this one because it's like the most easiest way to understand that is that when you borrowed $97 to your parents, you have to share them by two. I think that is $48.50 that you have to owe to each of your parents. So when you divide it by two, it's like you have to, the $3 that they gave you back, you have to divide $1.5 that you have to give to your father, and the other $1.50 that you have to give to your mother. And we all know that it's like, this $1 is the one you give to your father, and this other one is the one you give to your mother. And the other one with which you remain, you have to divide it again in 2 parts to add it to, this way. So when you it gives $50, and there $50, and the $1 you think that had disappeared never disappeared. It's like it's $100. So Karina was right. So in summary, I can tell you that in my presentation, I just talk about the multiple intelligences, and I focused on the intelligence that I have. I gave you some lessons and exercise and some reason why I think I'm intelligent. So thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attention, and if you have any other question, you can ask